welcome to the Cherryheart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is a podcast featuring knitting, crochet and sewing for the most part. You will be able to find the show notes for this podcast underneath the video in the drop down box below, and you can also find my patterns and tutorials on my website, which is cherryheart.co.uk. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for coming back if you're a returning viewer. I very much appreciate you sticking with me, and thank you for checking it out if you are new. I hope you enjoy what you see. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe, and if you want to be notified when I post new videos, you can click the bell as well. So welcome to my new craft room, my brand new craft room. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a few vlog videos, big changes videos I called it, to let you know that we've moved house. I disappeared off for a little while after Christmas, and yeah, that's what we were up to, moving. So I no longer have my craft room in the garden. I'm now in the main house. I've got a room in the main house. And yeah, I'm all set up. You'll see I've still got my same shelves all set up, so the view isn't that much different for you here. But yeah, if you want to have a bit more of a look around the craft room, then if you look in part 2, and I'm also doing like a house tour with some questions which may already be up by the time this comes up, or it may be following soon. But yeah, you can look out for those if you want to have a bit more of a look round. But I'm just on here today to catch up with you on what I've been working on, what I've been up to. So yeah, let's begin. Oh, actually, before I forget though, I'll mention what I'm wearing. So this is my Maybury cardigan, which is a pattern by Amy Lowden, who I'll have to put her Insta name up actually, because I think she's changed it. She was... well, it doesn't matter what she was, does it? Because she's not it anymore. But it was Little Tailoress or Tailoress Studios, and now she's, I think it's, I don't know, something about other knit. Some other knit or something like that maybe. Anyway, I would have put it up here. You will say, we can see it, thanks. Don't need to talk about that anymore. So that's who the pattern's by, and I used gorgeous Elderflower stitches, yarn, a floor ply yarn held with, you know, the fluffy stuff. What's that called? Yeah, just some lace mohair, that's it, lace mohair. Yeah, so I made this a little while ago, last autumn. Yeah, so I hope you've been keeping well since we last spoke. I did think I wouldn't have anything at all to podcast about. I did think I hadn't really had time to do anything much, so I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't have any reason to podcast for quite a while. But actually, when I looked back, I did manage to do things. So my last proper podcast was the Christmas special back in December, sort of mid-December-ish time. So actually, I did do some crafting around Christmas. So yeah, I have got something to show you. So the first project is probably, I think I spoke about this last time, so I think it's a work in progress that you know about, and it's my magical snowflakes. So here is this beautiful, colourful feast. So I made a blanket, so a blanket pattern. It was called Magical Snowflakes Blanket. And I talked about it on previous podcasts and showed it. I'll put a picture in actually of it so you know what I'm talking about. So I released the pattern before Christmas, so that was good. But when I made my lovely blue and white version, I really wanted to make that blue and white version, but I also wanted to make a slightly bigger, more colourful rainbowish type version, and that's why it was Magical Snowflakes, because I always imagined that kind of like a bit more of a blast of colour, so a sort of magical rainbow. You know, snowflakes are white, and this is not a white snowflake blanket, so hence the magical element. Yeah, so this is the kind of colours I had in mind. So I've just ferreted through, oops, they're falling out on me. I've ferreted through all of my sort of stash and leftover, all my 4-ply. Let's retrieve the one that fell on the floor. My 4-ply to conjure up these colours. So some of these are quite old yarns I've had in stash for a while, others are newer. I can't tell you what they all are individually, to be honest, but various different ones in there. And I think I need to add a few more. I think that's why I've pulled this pink out. I think I'm going to add some more of this sort of electric pink to this end of the range, and then a little bit more in this yellowy end, which I think is why I pulled these colours. Before we left my old house, I laid them all out on the floor to sort of see how many I'd got and what sort of size I was getting to. And I've got a picture on my phone. And so I think I sort of laid out a few more balls of yarn, sort of thinking, oh, I've got a few patches that I need to fill. So I'll have to revisit that picture and refresh my memory. But I think this is the bulk of the motifs that I need to do now. Let's show you one. It's not blocked, so you can't see it in all of its glory, but oh, I'm not using my normal podcasting camera, so that's still focusing okay, isn't it? Yeah, so that's the motif, and then it kind of has a board around and they join together. Let's show you another one. These ones I like. This one I know is a Biff Sugar yarn. It's called Circus, I believe. It's really colourful and cute. I like that one. I've got quite a few Elderflower yarns in here. And I've got, I think that was one, from an advent calendar. That would be 2022 advent calendar. And then I've got some yarns from swaps, so I don't know what that is, but I know I got it in a swap. But yeah, some lovely pretty ones in here. Yeah, so I guess there's no urgency on this one because it's very Christmas, wintry themed blanket, and it already feels like we're starting to come out of winter. I think because my January, I was so busy, it seemed to go in an absolute blink of the eye. I've been, you know, what's the word? Transported through to February, and now it feels like February is racing by. So yeah, it feels like, you know, in a minute it'll be March and then it'll be spring, and then sort of wintry themed blankets aren't possibly quite so motivated to work on. So I'm not quite sure how much more progress I'll make on this right now. It'd be quite nice to get all the motifs done though, wouldn't it? So I may sit and do that. But at the moment I've focused on something else, so I'll share that with you. So if you have watched my past podcast, this is another one I've talked about previously. So this is a pip, a pattern in progress, and it's my Sweetly Dreaming blanket that I'm hoping to bring out, well, in time for summer this year would be good, wouldn't it? Let's see if I manage that. But it's a lovely, I'm making it in, well, this has no ball band, so that's not very helpful, but it's the Stylecraft bamboo and cotton, Naturals bamboo and cotton. This is just, it's just the white. I can't remember if it's called white. It might be called chalk, actually. But yeah, it's white, basically. So yeah, so this is inspired by a blanket I saw in a magazine, sort of a vintage. It's very much in the sort of Swedish vintage blanket style. This kind of, I guess it's also a snowflake motif, it might be called. A star or a snowflake, I'm not sure. But yeah, very much also in that same sort of theme of snowflakes. But because it's going to be a lovely light, airy cotton, summery blanket, let's say it's a star, or maybe even a flower. Let's say it's a flower. Yeah, so basically I saw the magazine in a, no, I saw the blanket in a magazine even. I saw the blanket in the magazine, I just really liked it and wanted to recreate that. So I could see it was made up of these squares, so I sat down to kind of reverse engineer the square. So I've got that, and I think last time I spoke to you I had a massive pile of them, so now I've just started joining them into their rows. Got a few more to join to finish this row. I think I'm doing 7 by 6 squares, I believe. So 42 squares. Does that sound right? I can't remember. But yeah, so I've got 2 columns joined so far. And this will be my 3rd one that I'm joining. Let's see, I've got 3 squares here so far. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more to join. So it's definitely 7 by something squares. I think it's 6. Yeah, so I'm sewing them together. That's where the seam is. Down there. So there's the middle look. So I decided to just whip stitch them together because I wanted that seam to be as neat as possible, so that this sort of kind of grid effect up here remains reasonably consistent. Obviously you're always going to see a slightly thicker bit where the join is, but if I crocheted them together in any form it really bulked out that seam, which I didn't want. So I thought if I just sew them all together, that would be the best way of doing it, and I think it definitely gives the best look. So it's a little tedious, but I'm really happy with that nice minimal seam, so I will persevere with that. And then I've just got the border to finish and write up and publish a pattern, obviously. But yeah, so I kind of want to make sure I get on with that before the time whips by. So hopefully more progress on that one a bit next time or soon. And then I've got one brand new thing that I have started since we last spoke. So this was another Christmas one. So I think I was working on my snowflakes up to and kind of around the Christmas break, and then I switched to this new thing. I started sometime around the new year, I think. So this was my kind of start. I wanted to get it started so that when I did have some downtime in amongst the sort of packing and the moving and everything, if I did have like 5 minutes and I wanted just that relaxation of, right, let me just take my mind off of all that and just have a few minutes of calm, I wanted to have something that I could just pick up rather than having to think about and start. So I got that on I got that on the go before it really kicked off, so I have that there. So this is what I have now so far. So it is a top, and the pattern is an avec long Anna. As usual, I haven't printed out the first page because, you know, it just takes up so much ink, doesn't it? And it's just a picture which I can look at any time. Yeah, oh no, a long avec Anna. And it's the Rospico. Now, am I going to be saying that right? Probably not. Rospico. It's there. Ooh, is it going to focus? There, can you see that? Don't know how close it will let me come in. I'll put it up as well, won't I? Of course I will have put it up there. Yeah, so it's the Rospico, possibly Tee. So it's just a little short sleeve t-shirt style top, which I've been wanting to make something like this for quite a while because I've got this really nice blouse that's white and it's got these little dark blue kind of dotty pattern on it, and it's got kind of these balloony sleeves. So I thought if I had a nice little tee with short sleeves, then the sort of blouse sleeves could balloon out, you know, from underneath, and that would look really pretty. Because sometimes, you know, you just need that extra little bit of warmth, don't you? So yeah, I've been meaning to make something like this for a little while to go with that blouse. Yeah, so it's quite plain. I'll put a picture in of the pattern ones and you can see, since I didn't actually print it out. So I'll pop that up on the screen, just seeing if there are any pictures in here. Don't think there are. No, so you can see it's quite plain and it's just got a little bit of lace detail at the bottom, which I have done. Mostly, again, I managed to get that done at the old house, luckily. It's quite simple lace though, so it wasn't too taxing when I did have to come and do that. It was quite a short little repeat on it, so that was fine. And then it's just been stockinette since then, so like I said, I can just, if I've just got 5 minutes, I can literally pick it up and do a few more stitches round, and yeah, and then I can just plonk it down again. I don't have to worry about where I am in the pattern or anything. It's just knit stockinette straight for ages now. So that's been perfect for that. It's been the perfect little not in between project, but you know, while there's lots going on project. So yeah, and since, so I think I managed to get through to the end of the lace while we're at home, and then I sort of did a tiny bit after that, and then now the house is a bit more settled. We've sort of started to get a little bit, you know, established. It's not just boxes now. We've done most of the heavy lifting on the unpacking. Now I've started to have a little bit more of a regular evening back, and I've started to sort of make quite a bit more progress now. It did feel like it was going nowhere for a little while, but that was fine. And I've just got on here my little Cornish pasty stitch marker that my daughter got me for Christmas because she's in university down in Cornwall. So yeah, that's cute. Always gotta love a Cornish pasty. So yarn, I did a swatch as well, like a good girl. And my swatch gauge is absolutely perfect. Not only have I got the rose perfect, which I normally manage to hit rose okay, but I've also got, stitches perfect. I normally hit stitches okay, but I've also got rose perfect, which I rarely get. So that's a minor miracle. It's a bit scrumpled up now where it's been crushed in my bag. But yes, I did a swatch, I blocked it, I measured it, it's correct. I'll bet you this is not the same gauge. I'll bet you any money it doesn't work out the same gauge as my swatch, because it never seems to. But the yarn is, actually I think I've got a full one, I can show you it in all its original glory, is a Lay Family yarn purchase. And it's just the perfect blue that I wanted. There were two on there actually, so Kelly has quite a lot of, what's the word, kind of like stock yarns, stock colours that she keeps in stock kind of thing. So this, there were like 3 blues, and I think one I thought would be definitely too dark or too grey or something, and then there were 2 that I wasn't sure of, because you can never quite tell on a computer screen how it's going to look, aren't you? As much as, you know, people try to take clear photos that accurately represent, you know, monitors vary, all the things they normally say under these things. So you never quite know whether what your computer's showing you is going to be quite what you're going to get. So yeah, I was umming and ahhing, and then I actually went, you know, when I was looking at it closely, I was like, well, have they got enough yarn of each, the ones I'm looking at? And actually they only had enough skeins in this one, so that kind of made the decision. So I thought, okay, I'm pretty sure either of them will work. Well, we'll go with this one then, because they have it, you know, the number that I wanted. So I ordered this one and it came, and I was like, okay, great, it's perfect, thank goodness. So that worked out really well. I think the other one probably would have worked, but this one is absolutely a brilliant match. So it's called Dark Night, this one. So it's 4-ply yarn, it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 100 grams, 225 metres, or no, not 225 metres, that would be DK. 425 metres or 467 yards. Yeah, so that one's beautiful. Love it. Very exciting. So I got 3 skeins of that, so I've got another one wound up ready to go, but I'm still on my first one. I've still got a reasonable amount of my first one, and I feel like I've done quite a lot. So it's coming on nicely. I wanted to make sure, because I normally have to lengthen, add a little bit more length to patterns on the body and the sleeves. So this is a short sleeve top, so that will probably be fine, but I probably will still need to lengthen the body. So I always like to make sure I've got a little bit more than it says you'll need in the pattern, because generally I tend to end up using, well, I don't always use more than it says actually, because normally designers give you a little tolerance, to give you a little, you know, margin of error. So normally I'm fine anyway, but I just like to make sure I have got that bit of extra, because I know I will be increasing it slightly. Ah, did you hear that? It was the call of the bird. He's woken up, he's realised I've gone, and now he wants to come up here. But actually, I'm pretty much done. So I'll perhaps bring him up while I'm editing or something. And that is in my Elderflower Stitches bags, which... what did I get that with? My advent calendar year before last? My 22 advent calendar maybe? Might have been, I can't remember. I've been using it for a while though, because it's one of my favourites at the moment, so I really like that. Gorgeous Liberty fabric, which is very pretty. It might have been with her advent, or it might have been with one of her sort of monthly, like she's done a Valentine's special and a Bramley Hedge special that I got, so it might have been one of those. Yes, but I think that is probably it from me. That's all I have to show you. That's all that's new. Oh, incoming goodies actually. The light is fading here a bit now. But we'll just I'll quickly just show you my incoming goodies I got at Christmas. So the first thing was my dressmaking mannequin, which I will just pop a picture in to show you. Again, if you've seen my big changes videos, you'll have seen me popping that together and putting that in. So yeah, I'm hoping that will help me with my dressmaking endeavours, my tentative little bit of dressmaking endeavours. Hopefully that will encourage me more. But I also got two lovely embroideries. So the first one was a present from my daughter of this cute alpaca. So that's really sweet. So it's in an embroidery hoop, and I guess that's a felt alpaca, and then you add the felt saddle and do some lovely embroidery to decorate him. And I also got, you're not going to see the visual beauty of this one so much because it's all packed up in its box still, but it is from Pretty Fabrics and Trims, lovely Sarah, and it's her summer sampler. I'll pop a picture in here because she has these lovely little mini quilts, little samplers, and yeah, I've had a few of Sarah's things now and they're always really lovely to do. So yeah, I put that on my list, and I thought maybe I could collect all the seasons up, and that'd be something quite nice that I could either have in here in the craft room or maybe in the house somewhere. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I might save the summer one till it is a little more summertime. Maybe I'll do this one first and then do the summer one afterwards. Yeah, just a few little crafty related incoming goodies to share with you. No yarn incoming apart from the, well, I showed the Lay family yarn in my last podcast and you've seen it again now. But yeah, that's all my incoming goodies. And that's it for the podcast really. So I hope you're keeping well, and I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year. Feels like quite a while ago now, feels like an eon ago to me actually, but because so much has happened since then. But that will have been the last time we've spoken, so I do hope you enjoyed a nice break then, and yeah, I hope you've got some nice things planned for this new year ahead. And I will see you on my very next podcast. Thanks for watching. Bye!